Unhelpful thinking styles can slow our children down because they can get caught in a thinking loop that they can't get out of. It can cause unnecessary anxiety for our children. Some things we can do to help them to identify when this is happening and to look at more constructive ways to deal with unhelpful thought patterns is help them to label what they're seeing. For example, we can be catastrophizing where we think that the worst possible outcome is going to happen, or a child may show all or nothing thinking. For example, I got that question wrong on that exam, I know I'm going to fail the whole test. So what we can do by helping them to label and identify when these things are happening is give them some power over dealing with it and an ability to take a step back. You can try to attach some funny names or memorable names to this activity so that they remember what you've spoken about, maybe using a term like disaster brain, for example. Another strategy we can use is to be a detective, where we have to try and find our unhelpful thinking patterns and use that type of analogy to help them to figure out themselves where they're using it across the day. We can also encourage them to minimize the thought. So think about strategies we can use to shrink it or make it smaller, and try and give them some concrete examples to help them to understand how to do that. For example, let's make that a smaller problem. Let's take the sting out of it. Do you think you really failed that exam? Or how would we make that problem smaller, or that thought smaller? Maybe you got 2 wrong and you got 5 correct. So what we're doing is shrinking the problem down. Another thing we can think about doing is ask them how they would speak to a friend if their friend was having that experience, and that can help us as adults and children to be a bit kinder to ourselves, because research shows us that when we are dealing with a friend, we're more likely to be a bit more empathetic and kinder than when it's an issue that we see in ourselves.